Good evening everyone, welcome to the official YouTube channel of Officers Adda 24/7. So first of all, those candidates who have joined us here in this particular session, do let me know how are you all, and let's start the session. What actually we are doing in this particular session, I will let you know. First of all, this is our Achiever series, and this time 7 p.m. is book for your IFS Achiever series, in which we are discussing one particular topic every day in form of important MCQ. So if you haven't seen these sessions, first of all, do check all the sessions which are available in the playlist. You can watch in the recorded form. And do make sure from now onwards you join at 7 p.m. for IEIFS and 6 a.m. for PPB. So I will be your mentor for IEIFS and PPB, both the subject for your JAIIB. And we here are preparing for your JAIIB May 2024 paper. Okay, so let's start the session. So this is our Achiever series, and today we are going to discuss the class number 7. In class number 7, module A we are discussing, and the topic that is there in the class number 7 is economic reforms. So module A, unit number 7, it is the economic reform. The total modules you have 4, and total units you have 45, out of which 11 units you will find in your module A. Out of that we are discussing 7. So you can see we are going to complete module A in next 4 days. Okay, so do make sure you have checked all the sessions. That is very much important. Now let's start the session. Now today we are going to talk about the economic reform. So as usual, first we will discuss about this particular topic, and then we will move towards the MCQs, so that you will be able to link the content with the MCQs. Okay, so let's start. Now when we talk about the economic reforms, in the globalization chapter I have already talked about economic reforms with all of you, in which we have discussed what is liberalization, what is privatization, what is globalization, what are the different aspects. We have seen advantages, disadvantages about globalization we have discussed. In this particular session, we are going to discuss about all the economic reforms. So as I have told you in the last session, unit number 6, globalization, that why we have introduced economic reform, because there are 6 to 7 problems which India was facing. Out of them, we have seen that fiscal deficit was increasing in the country. It means the burden on government of India of borrowing was increasing, and government was not capable at that time to repay that borrowing, repay that loan. Second, we have seen that the country was facing extremely high inflation, and that was at the warning stage. So we were facing inflation at the warning stage. That was another issue we were facing. The third we have faced was here the increase in the increase in the outflow from the country. It means in the balance of payment, the outflow was more in comparison to the inflow, and because of that the balance of payment crisis have been seen. And because there was balance of payment crisis, the other things was also there, like we were seeing that regularly the foreign exchange reserve was declining, it was falling in the country. Regularly we were seeing that the foreign exchange reserve is falling from the country. It means we have seen that we only have 14 days foreign exchange reserves. After 14 days we will not be able to repay our, or not repay, to pay our import bills. So this was the major issue we were facing. After this, we have also seen that the public sector undertaking were facing a very difficult time for providing job opportunities in the country or providing salary to its employee. Apart from that, there was also an issue that we were facing at that time, that our gold reserve was also declining, because while we were taking loan from the World Bank or other institution, we have to give something in the security, and the gold reserve was used for that purpose. And all of these came together, and that's why Indian economy was facing a crisis in the economy, and that's why Indian economy, or I can say the Indian government, went to World Bank and IMF for the help. And there they have put a certain condition in front of the government that yes, India will get loan or will get help from us, but they have to introduce the new economic policy. They have to reform their economic policy, because according to World Bank and IMF, whatever economic policy India was using, that was not sufficient for India to grow in the next 15 or 10 years. So that's why, because if we talk about IMF, it is International Monetary Fund. It provides loan to the member countries in case of economic crisis, in case of your balance of payment crisis, as well as it provides ideas, suggestions to the government of your country, in which, or the central bank of your country, in which IMF makes sure that the country will not face any kind of instability in the economy. And that's what we have seen. That was we were doing at that time. So IMF said, IMF have seen the study, have done the study on the Indian economic policy and said, if we are going to help you out, you have to change your economic policy, because IMF knew that if we will give loan India today, after 10 to 15 years, India will be at the same situation and won't be able to return our money. So that's why the economic reform have to be introduced. That was the suggestion of IMF. And as we had no choice, we have introduced the economic reform. That was the LPG. So LPG stands for liberal. I know you all know about the LPG. We have discussed a lot of time. Liberalization, privatization, globalization. Liberalization means to liberal the rules and regulations and restrictions from the certain different sector of the country. Apart from that, liberalization made the license, permit and quota Raj a thing of past. It means some times ago it used to happen in the country. The second, privatization, means when you transfer the ownership, the management, the control from government to private sector. It can be partial transfer, it means 50%, 49%, 70%, whatever. Or it can be fully transfer, it means 100% ownership, management and control. So this transfer from public ownership to the private ownership is known as privatization. And because of the privatization, India became mixed economy, because government and private sector both are working together in the country. Third, we have our globalization. Now, what actually the globalization is? Globalization simply to link Indian economy with the world economies. We started linking Indian economy with the world economies, in which we have seen that the government have provided the permission to do export and import from India to abroad. It means kind of economy we have seen India to build, that there is no restriction in the export and import of the country. And because of this, India right now is known as an open economy, because we have provided permission to do export and import. And this is the LPG, this is the economic reform. It's not like when we have introduced the LPG policy or economic reform, India got only benefited out of it. No, a lot of disadvantages are there, as in globalization chapter. If you remember in the last session, I have discussed with all of you, the globalization somehow was affecting the Indian economy. And that's where the WTO said that if you think that these rules and regulations or the globalization is not good for your national interest, you can introduce your own measures to control these kind of things. And then India introduced the protectionism measure. Okay, and if you know what are those three protectionism measure that we have discussed in the last class, do let me know in the comment section. Okay, that's a kind of homework for you, I can say. So in the comment section, let me know the three protectionism measure that India was introduced to reduce the disadvantages from the globalization. Okay, so that you have to answer. So let's start. This is our introduction of the chapter. Now let's start with the form of MCQ. Before starting here, do also make sure that you are being active in each and every session and keep answering whatever you think is the right option in your comment section. Okay, or in the end, do let me know what score you have got in this particular session. So let's start with the first question, that is asking about what were the reason for introducing economic reforms in 1991. Why we have introduced economic reform in 1991? The reason it is asking. First is saying the Gulf War, second is saying the negative balance of payment, third is saying increase in fiscal deficit. So out of these three reasons, what you guys think? Which of the following is the reason for your economic reform introduction? So I've told you there was an increase in fiscal deficit, there was a balance of payment crisis, it means negative balance of payment, and there was a Gulf War. Because of that, the crude oil was becoming costlier for the country, imports became costlier for the country, and somehow we were not able to maintain our foreign reserves. So right answer is all of the above. It means D is the reason why we have introduced the economic reform. Okay. Next question. Next question is asking about the the process of transferring the ownership, management, control of a public sector partially, entirely to the private sector is known as. I guess I have told you about this already. Hana? The process where you transfer the ownership, the management, the control of your public sector undertaking to the private sector. It is known as what? Globalization, liberalization, privatization, and or none of the above. So I guess that's a very simple question. Right answer is privatization. Okay, right answer is your privatization. Next question we have, which is not one of the primary pillars of 1991 economic reforms. Not a primary pillar. So 1991 economic reform, you can call it economic reform, you can call it new economic policy, you can call it LPG policy, you can call it free market economy, whatever you want to call it, all these are the same. And which of the following is not a part of your economic reform? That is automation. Liberalization, privatization, globalization is there, but not the automation. Very simple question. Again, one of the simple question, which of the following concept was not a part of your economic reform under the new economic policy 1991? Centralization, liberalization, globalization, privatization. So which of the following is not a part of economic reforms? So economic reforms, we have seen a lot of economic reforms reasons. And what economic reform we have seen, that also LPG, out of which centralization is not a part. Centralization is a kind of power in which, or kind of method of doing economic planning in the country that used to be done by planning commission. So in the planning commission, what used to happen, top to bottom model was introduced. At the top, central used to make planning, and all the state and union territory have to follow their planning. And state and union territories, they do not have any kind of option that they can give their suggestions, or apart from that, they can give any kind of feedback to these kinds of things. There was nothing like that. So they just have to follow the rules or the policy that the central government had made. And that's what is known as your centralization power. And what Niti Aayog is doing, that's a decentralization. Why? Because the states and union territories heads are the member of governing council. They tells the central what they tells the Niti Aayog what they are looking for. Accordingly, the plan will be made. So bottom to top level, it is the planning of Niti Aayog now. Which of the following has occurred in India after its liberalization economic policy 1991? So which of the following situation have been seen in India after LPG? First is saying share of agriculture in GDP increase, share of India's export in the world increase, FDI inflow increase, India's foreign exchange reserve increase. So what do you think, which of the following is correct? The situation that we have seen, the situation that we have seen in India, share of agriculture in GDP increase, this is, see, if we are talking about after liberalization, what we have seen, so this is very true, FDI was increased. And in the globalization chapter, I have told you that because of the inflow of the capital, maximum ownership, not the ownership, but maximum benefit have been seen in the which sector? In the service sector. And the least benefit was agriculture sector. So agriculture share was reducing, not increasing. So this is not true. FDI inflow is true, foreign exchange was true because the export was increased. And that's why the right answer will be your second, third and fourth, and the option number B will be correct. Option number B will be correct. Okay. Now next. Narasimhan Committee on Financial Sector Reform is related to which sector? So we are talking about Narsimhan Committee. This is a very important committee. Definitely the question will be seen from this committee. First of all, Narsimhan Committee 1 and 2 you have to study in your module C, unit number 1. That is Indian financial system. Okay, that you have to cover. Now, if you're talking about Narsimhan Committee on Financial Sector Reform, it is related to which sector? It is related to banking sector. A lot of reforms in there. Hana, here you are just reading what was the sector for which the Narsimhan Committee have given the recommendation. So a lot of recommendation have been given by Narsimhan Committee. And the second thing you can see that a lot of recommendation have been accepted by government. So whatever the recommendation have been given, they have been started in a certain measures by the government. So right answer is your banking sector reform have been given. Like one of the reforms recommendation it has given that do decrease the CRR and SLR, do increase more supervision on the commercial banking system, do introduce the private sector banks so that they will be able to have a healthy competition. All these kind of things have been introduced. So right answer is B. Next. What was the primary outcome of liberalization and privatization initiative under the new economic policy in 1991, followed by the Indian government? So you have to answer here, what was the primary? Now, what was the primary outcome? So, you know, because of the liberalization, a lot of rules, regulations have been removed. Okay. Second thing, because of the privatization, we have allowed private company to work in the country. So, because of these two, what have been the initiative that have been there? That is globalization. Because of that, we have find out the globalization have been done in the country. So, right answer is your B. Next. Which of the following arguments are made in favor of privatization of a country's economy? The argument made in favor of privatization of country's economy. It helps to revive sick public sector unit. It creates a competitive environment for businesses. It helps to protect the sovereignty of consumer. So what do you think? What was the reason why we have done the privatization? Like if we talk about the present, if a government allows that this company will be private, going to the privatization, or government is doing privatization of the banks, this creates a very bad image of the government. Like it means government is not capable of running its own companies. So it is giving that companies to the private sector, and that's true. That's what the government do. And this is the best way to revive the particular public sector unit. This is true. And that's why the privatization have been done or have been allowed. It creates a competitive environment. That is also true. It helps to protect the consumer sovereignty. That is also true. It means right answer is D. So all the points that have been given here was in the favor that yes, we should do the privatization in the country, and that's why we did the privatization. Okay, because at that time government was not actually capable, because it do not have the capital to run these sick units or to give employment to the country or to make sure that the work should be done on a time. That was not there in the country. That's why the private sector was allowed to come into the business. Now next, what is the full form of LQP system that existed before onset of the new economic policy? So earlier, to start any business, the certain restrictions used to be there. To start any business, the certain restriction used to be there in the country, and because of that, the liberalization process have been done, and the liberalization had made the rules, regulation, restrictions easy. Now it is easy to start your business in the country. Now it's easy to work in the country. So now you have to answer LQP system that used to be there. It used to be a thing of past now. That was removed because of the liberalization. It was what? And the right answer for this will be your license, quota and permit. So now the license, quota and permit Raj became a thing of past in India because of the new economic policy. So right answer will be your A. Before starting business in India, we used to have the license from the certain department. You have to take permission and they will give you the license. Then the quota have to be given. Like once you have got the license, after that they will ask you that this is the quota for you. This is how much you can produce. This is how much you can do. So quota Raj was there. Permit Raj was there. After taking license, you have to take the permit as well. So this became a thing of past now. So right answer is A. Okay, one second. Now, next question is asking which of the following was not a part of the structural adjustment program under the new economic policy. Not a part of, you have to answer. Which of the following was not a part of structural adjustment program? Fiscal reform, tax reform, balance of payment adjustment, industrial reform. A, B, C or D. And the right answer will be here. It was not including the balance of payment adjustment. So which of the following was not a part of a structural adjustment program under NEP? It was balance of payment adjustment. Okay, right answer is C. Next. So this was the questions we have discussed here. Now let me know about economic reform if you have any doubt. If you do not have any doubt, do let me know how much you score in this particular session. Those who are watching recording session, do let me know in the comment section how much you score. And if you have any doubt, you can ask in the comment section as always. So now this is the information for all of you. We have started on 8th of December. We have started the Achievers batch. Okay, and I have taken the first class, that was the orientation class for your IFS. And today at 9 to 10 p.m. Today at 9 to 10 p.m. I will be taking the first demo session of this particular class. This particular batch, that will be IFS Module C, Indian Financial System. So if you are willing to check that, you can check on the YouTube. You will find the session there that is available for the first demo class. This will be available on YouTube as well. Apart from that, if you want to enroll in any of the product, what you have to do, just first of all download the Adda 24/7 application. After downloading the application, go to the exam category, and the exam category that you have to choose is your JAIIB CIB. This is your home page. Just go to the exam category JAIIB CIB. You will find JAIIB May 2024. Click on the view all option. Involve all the batches. You can see here Mahapacks is available. Individual batches are available. Okay, comprehensive batches are available. Everything is available here. How to enroll, whatever batch you want to enroll, that this is the Lakshya batch, this is the Achievers batch, right? So you can see how to enroll. Just click on the batch, do read all the details, what is available, do check the validity, click on the buy now option. When you enter these code, you will get maximum 75% discount. If you want more than that discount, do use a code Y496, click on the apply. You will find here 77% discount. But by using the same code on application, right, you will get 78% discount. 6 months validity is there. This is the amount that you have to pay, but 1% additional discount will be there out of this amount. Apart from that, one more information is there. If you enroll in the batch, which batch you have to enroll, that will be your Achievers batch. There will be you finding 9 months validity. So validity will be different for your Mahapack and the batch. Do check the validity accordingly and do enroll accordingly. Okay, so this is how you can enroll in any of the batches which are available on Adda 24/7 application. Apart from that, if you want to join these kind of IT sessions on regular basis for all the 4 subjects of your JAIIB May 2024, then do subscribe to the channel Officers Adda 24/7 and press the bell icon so that all the upcoming sessions notification be given to you. Plus, in the morning 6 a.m. we are having PPP session. In the evening 7 p.m. we are having IFS session. So do make sure you join both the sessions in the morning and the evening so that we will be completing our subjects basics in these sessions. Okay, and I will see you at 9 to 10 p.m. today only on Officers Adda 24/7 for the first demo class of your IFS. Okay, so thank you everyone for joining the session. Last but not the least, do not forget to share the session on your Telegram channel, WhatsApp group or Facebook group, wherever you know the people are available who are preparing for the JAIIB. Okay, so thank you everyone. Take care.